Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you Game 5 in a best of 5 series between Mouse Mana and Mouse Naama here in the Delta Quadrant. Obviously, with the series tied, or this being a Game 5, the series is tied 2-2 Naama versus Mana, Terran versus Protoss. It all comes down to this. Games 1 and 2 were all right. Games 3 and 4 were simply amazing. And now it all just settles onto this Game 5 here. Will Mana bring his A game? Will Naama be able to repeat what he's done in games 1 and 2? Not 100% sure yet, as I need to do something very, very quickly. Let's see. Yeah. Go ahead and quit Skype. Make sure that you guys, I don't get any accidental phone calls in the middle of my shoutcasting. So Mouse Naama spawning at the 10 o'clock location as the red Terran player. Meanwhile, we have Mouse Naama and Mouse Mana spawning as the blue Protoss player here at the 5 o'clock location. This is going to be a cross spawn here on Delta Quadrant. So I believe the walking distances are actually similar to Steps of War when it is a cross spawn. The walking distances are actually strangely almost closer, or as close, even if it is a cross spawn, just because you don't have to worry about terrain nearly as much. Terrain here on Delta Quadrant means that you have to walk up and down these weird ramps here, and it does add a little bit to the walking distance in order to get into these locations. We now see some early scouting coming in from Mana. Because this is a cross spawn, no one really has a significant advantage in terms of gameplay. The backdoor expansion here is both exposed. No one's closer to the other player's backdoor expansion, so I'm liking that this is going to be a cross spawn and no one's going to have a very unfair advantage. Mana may be able to use these these destructible rocks here and here, though, in order to get an unfair advantage and use charged void rays, simply able to fly them in very quickly. Naama has been opening up with a lot of marine play. So if he just continues to open up with marine play, he will be able to counter those void rays very easily. But if he doesn't get into those Vikings early enough, that may become a problem, as Vikings are the proper counter to void rays until those void rays get those flux veins, allowing the void ray to move at the same speed as a stalker, which is faster than a Viking. So the Viking is unable to use that shoot and scoot method, enabling one void ray to take down an infinite number of one Viking to take down an infinite number of void rays with proper micro. Here is Cybernetics Core now coming online and now quickly researching that warp gate ability. We now see the double gas opening by Mana, but Mana rarely ever opens into a 4 gate with this particular strategy. Now going into a Zealot Sentry. So Zealot Sentry makes sense just because he is mining off of 2 gas right now. Double gas really makes sense that he wants to train up something that has less minerals and more gas, and now going for another gateway and waiting for a robotics facility, but I don't see it just quite yet. So the robotics facility was usually built first before that second gateway, I believe, but he may be trying to change up his strategy just a little bit. He may have been practicing this build here on Delta Quadrant, not 100% sure, as I'm not able to keep track and watch every single game that I want to watch. Naama, interestingly enough, opening up into 1-1-1 play. So 1-1-1, 1 barracks, 1 factory into 1 starport, and I do not see a tech lab yet being placed down, so I'm not sure if it's going to be Banshees. But normally 1-1-1 play is into Banshees. We do see Hellions now being trained, so the Hellions being trained does mean that he's trying to save up his gas a little bit more, and there in comes that tech lab there. Tech lab, double gas, should have just the right amount of gas in order to train up and get cloaking, in addition to training up 1 Banshee, as well as now 1 Hellion going to test the waters and try to run up this ramp. It's going to be looking to deal a lot of damage here, as there's that robotics facility, so it's going to be a 3 gate into a robotics facility, and now that Hellion going for some probe mechanical, I guess, oil, able to deal some damage. It has not gotten any true kills so far yet. Will be able to kill there, able to get 1 kill so far. Will it be able to get 2? There, now 2 kills, and continuing to get more damage out, 3 kills. It is worth its weight, and now trying to fight back against some of those probes. However, not going to be able to get that final shot off onto that low hit point probe, and that probe down to, what, 3 shields. It would have been able to take 1 additional point of damage anyways if that Viking or if that Hellion did deal damage. Hellions deal 14 damage versus probes, assuming no upgrades. back here, oh, sorry, no production tab. We do see the Banshee and the Cloaking Research already up, as I assumed that Cloaking Research nearing completion, and now one SCV on the move, one bunker on that front door, enabling him to make sure that no stalkers are able to run or simply just walk up this ramp. These destructible rocks, however, are going to take quite some time for these Zealots to finish off, just because the Zealots are only able to deal 10 damage per round of attack. Destructible debris having a natural 3 armor. One Banshee now quickly making its way out, will have Cloaking Research, and now this one Observer very, very wisely stays in his base. I guess he was able to gain sight for just a moment, or yeah, no, not able to gain sight for just a moment. He does not know about the starport with the tech lab. However, in comes that Banshee now in play, and now Banshee going after some probes, able to take out one probe. However, that Banshee already down to 80 hit points. That one Observer, I know it's somewhere in the skies. Where is it? Where is I know, oh, it's sitting right there on top of the mineral patch. Very difficult to see. But he was able to gain sight on that Banshee. The Banshee harassment not really worth all too much right now, as another Banshee able to get another kill there. So those two Banshees, 2 kills between the two of them, and will not be able to deal that much damage. These destructible rocks, so a very interesting move by the Protoss player Mana, deciding to set up a second base here. It will allow him to fully saturate this particular mineral patch much more easily, as it takes 6 less probes in order to do so. And now getting this Nexus, I'm sure that Naama will not look into this location for a fast expansion. For an expansion. We are 9 minutes into this game, so an expansion is not fast or slow. It is pretty standard opening so far, and now Naama moving around. A very nice choice by Mana, making sure not to take this particular expansion, as generally most of those Banshees are like to come in, make sure that there is no expansion here, and then come into this location here. I believe there is still one Observer somewhere. Yeah, one Observer right there, hiding right by the mineral patch. There are 2 Stalkers on the ground. However, with 3 Banshees in the air, the Banshees may be able to focus down a Stalker fast enough, simply because of sheer army size. There are no additional Stalkers nearby that I can see. One Stalker here, and some sentries as those Banshees quickly come in. So those Banshees now able to take down one of those Stalkers. The second Stalker now taking down. More Stalkers are trying to be warped in. Another Stalker quickly being picked off there. So a lot of damage has been dealt. And another group of Banshees able to finish off this one Stalker over here. Stalker taking a lot of damage. Down it goes. 4 Stalkers quickly trying to come in. However, the base of Mana in a lot of trouble, as he's unable to get into those mineral patches very, very easily. One Immortal also down to 46 hit points as well. The Observer continuing to give chase, and with absolutely no Stargate in play, no Phoenixes to try to harass that Banshee. That Banshee will be able to stay here for quite a while. And now this one Observer continuing to just wander around. There are a couple idle probes here. The sentries weren't even brought over. The sentries could have thrown up those Guardian shields, reducing the amount of damage from those Banshees from 28 down to 24. A quick probe now getting shot down there as Naama taking his natural expansion. However, Mana does have one expansion over here. You can see that the Terran player currently sitting on an 800 mineral difference, as he's currently mining with 4 mules. So those 4 mules giving him a strong economic boost. In addition to that, we also see some harvesters, and the harvester count is in favor of Naama, so Naama being able to just exploit that advantage. One Banshee over here with 5 kills, also took some more points of damage as well. The Observer still giving a little bit of sight, and now Naama has to be curious as to where that expansion is. And 12 minutes into the game, you have to assume your opponent has an expansion. He cannot be just running off of one base, as we are now getting Zealot leg research. Interestingly enough, we're getting Zealot legs instead of Stalker Blink. Stalker Blink would be very useful. However, with the sheer number of Zealots currently in play, the Zealots want to be able to close in and get within that 0 radius. You see Naama now able to see that there is an expansion down over here, and he realizes he is not in as much of a lead as he thought, even with the the harvester count advantage. 45 versus 38. The fact that Mana is currently mining off of the gold minerals makes it so that he's able to mine much more quickly from these 6 gold mineral patches compared to these 8 blue mineral patches here. More in order to determine saturation. Stalkers, Immortals continuing to fight. Army-wise, both sides are even, as these sides are going to engage. Force fields quickly splitting up that army. Nicely done. Siege tanks are going to start blasting away from the back, and now those force fields are going to be a little bit of a problem, as those Zealots are unable to deal any damage and get within that 0 range. Are we going to get another Guardian Shield is the key question. Siege Tanks now moving out with more force fields coming in, trying to be very, very careful. More force fields being cast. Those units have really nowhere to run. And now those Stalkers being very careful not to try to engage. And now one Immortal taking a lot of damage so far. That Immortal shields are depleted and now taking a lot of damage once again. Mana down to about a 1,300 mineral army. Things are not looking good for him whatsoever, as Naama now slowly using Siege Tanks will be able to start pushing out. We do see bunkers now being placed down as well, so that one bunker will be able to just load up a lot of Marines and Marauders very, very quickly. Marines and Marauders continuing to give chase here. Probes running back home, trying to fight another day. Templar Archives is up. There are some High Templars. High Templars do not have enough energy for Psystorm just quite yet. It will be a little bit of time, but there are no ghosts. Very, very critical that are currently no ghosts in Naama's army. The Ghost Academy now being built, so it will take us quite some time, about 1 game minute, in order to get that Ghost Academy up and get those ghosts, and then even more time to get EMP Shockwave and these ghosts to arrive in this fight. So it will be about 2 minutes. Will these High Templars be able to hold off that army like they did in games 3 and 4? Another Nexus being placed here at the natural mineral expansion. Things are not looking good for Mana, the Protoss player, at all. Currently also trying to get some additional research, and in comes those units here. Are we going to get a Psystorm? In comes a Psystorm, and now a lot of damage has been dealt. Siege Tanks are in the back. More Psystorm being dealt across. More Marines here. Those Siege Tanks are trying to slowly push their way into this fight. And another Psystorm dealing a lot of damage there. However, a Siege Tank able to blast its way. An Archon just out of range. And now simply going to try to walk in. However, should not be walking in there. Archon does take a lot of damage in order to get shot down. Shield do not take the full damage there. So Siege Tanks need about 11 hits in order to take down one Archon. We now see Immortals continuing to be built. The army size, Naama now about double the army size here, or will be double the army size. However, with that amulet production, we should be getting more and more High Templars, but just not enough gas. You can see 5 gateways currently warping in Zealots and 1 High Templar. Once again, we'll be able to get about 1 High Templar every game minute. Things are not looking good production-wise. More units still being produced. Zealots on the way to charge. There are a lot of Siege Tanks in the back. Just trying to stay right outside of sight range on those Siege Tanks, or blast range, as those Marauders are just dealing more damage back and forth. No Colossi, and without the Colossi to support this army, things are not looking good. Zealots taking another round, 2 rounds of attack from those Siege Tanks. Siege Tanks still a very, very effective unit against unarmored units, as now Mana being forced to retreat all the way home. Currently supply locked, needs to take down these destructible rocks. However, during that time, he may find it very difficult. He needs to get some, some force fields off in that location, but that's also going to be very, very gas intensive, as Mana currently now trying to warp in more High Templars, more Zealots, and now we see Marauders now making their way in as well. And we now see another Zealot currently being warped in, going to get picked off right as it's warped in. However, that Zealot is there. The destructible rocks have taken some damage, but not very much at all, as these Siege Tanks are now going to be able to take off some of these very, very key technical buildings. If the Templar Archive goes down, I believe that has to be game, as Mana will not be able to warp in any additional High Templars. And now final push, Mana taking a look, saying, will it be enough? Zealots trying to get a quick surround there. Siege Tanks on the low ground, doing a great job. In comes some more Psystorm. Siege Tanks are getting destroyed. Will this be enough to hold? More Psystorm being cast across the board. Stalkers continue to push out even more. More Archons now being merged in that fight. Stalkers choking themselves up over here. Things not looking good if they try to engage. And now Mouse Mana says GG, good game, mate, well played. And congratulations. So Naama, winner of the DreamHack tournament. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed games 4 and 5 that I just casted today. Sorry, I had to split up the casting yesterday. I started to fall asleep at the keyboard, and I realized I wasn't doing anything this tournament any justice. Just had to go to sleep and continue to cast these games, and I'm really, really glad to just rest up and cast these games. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope to see you guys on Battle.net. Got a couple announcements coming out pretty soon. Trying to get some things in the works. I'll let you guys know about it. Once again, thanks for watching.